Hey everyone, this is Natalie with your pre show reminder that we have revamped our entire Patreon page for 2026. Now on Patreon, you can enjoy even more free content like our newsletter and some curated blog posts. If you follow the link in our show notes to sign up for our free tier, our Patreon will be working as our website, and in case anything goes weird with any of the other social media apps, it will also be the best way for you to connect with us from a social media mindset. For our paid tiers, you can look forward to even more blog posts written by me about the misogyny in real time I am experiencing, as well as ad free listening and bonus episodes that will report on misogyny within the world, within my own life, media that is confronting misogyny or, God forbid, perpetuating misogyny, and some advice that is better served behind a paywall because we all know how mouthy I can get. So please enjoy this episode, and then after the show, go check out all of the things that are posted on our Patreon. We have chats there where you can easily get a hold of me to do things like suggest episode topics or guests or introduce yourself and start to help me build a tolerator community. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Hey, tolerators. This is To All the Men I've Tolerated Before with Natalie Katona, your weekly look at everyday misogyny. Today's a party day because I get uninterrupted time with Kervin from 4Y Games. You'll remember Kervin from our diversity in gaming episode where we talked about his efforts on TikTok and the way he designs his games to promote equality and inclusion in the board game industry, which makes this nerd's heart happy. But while I love a good board game chat today, we're going to the cottage. Kervin and I are gabbing and hopefully giggling over the mass psychosis event that is Heated Rivalry. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me, and I couldn't be more excited about the topic.
I'm trying really hard to not do my Ilya impersonation that I do all day long.
Fair. It's fair. It's a good one. It's a great one.
Yeah. I'm like, is it borderline offensive how often I'm talking in a Russian accent, considering he's not Russian? So,
He's a Texan. He grew up in Odessa. Connor Story is from Texas.
I know, sweet baby angel Connor Story.
1000%.
Before we, well, maybe I'll get, if anyone is living under a rock and doesn't know what Heated Rivalry is, it is the Canadian Crave sensation that hit America through HBO Max. They finally did something right besides White Lotus in the Pit. And it's about two hockey players, Shane and Ilya, and their rivalry on the ice, but most importantly, their passion in the sheets. Okay, so what got you to watch Heated Rivalry? Were you waiting for it? I feel like one day I just woke up and my cousin was blowing up my phone to be like, watch this show.
So the TikTok FYP knows me really well. Like, I got into, like, whenever they're like, hey, Kervin, I think you should watch this, it's just, like, nonstop barraging. And so, like, there were a couple of animes that, like, I've never seen before, and they're like, watch this. And I was like, bet. And then I kept getting, like, Heated Rivalry things before it dropped, or, like, before I, like, had HBO Max. Like, fine, I guess I'll get it just to watch this. And then I found out that one of the main characters was like half Asian. And so I was just like, you know what? For representation purposes, even if it was like whatever, I'll just watch it. And then like 20 seconds in, I was like, oh shoot, I'm hooked.
Oh. And then, so I had a pretty interesting time with being hooked. I think I got hooked and we were 3 episodes in And I watched all 3 episodes, and I think I misunderstood and thought that they had all dropped at once. So then when it was over, I was like, why would I ever have to wait for something? And I was mad.
I tend to binge watch things, so like the fact I had to like watch and wait was really annoying. But I definitely made sure to wake up 2 hours early from my workday to watch it as soon as it dropped because yeah, I need like there's no way I was gonna be able to go an entire workday without focusing.
Exactly. And that's how I am about the traders, because the traders will be spoiled on your FYP, on your Instagram feed, the moment that you open your eyes. So I plan my entire Thursday around traders. uh, but I was secretly watching it. Like, I would just like get all cozy in bed and turn off all of the lights and be like, time to watch my sons play hockey and do other things.
Oh, it was over like it was over December. I was in Massachusetts and the boyfriend was working, so I like got really cozy, got my blanket, sipped some coffee, and like oh no, it was I have a series called Normalizing Board Game Mornings, and if we could normalize like like smut mornings over coffee, I would be perfectly happy.
I'm sure there's an audience for that. I will hook you up with the correct people to make it happen. I didn't tell anyone I was watching it. I would just like watch it and then go to bed and be done with it. And then finally I finished all of it. And that's when I made my TikTok announcing that I had gone to the cottage. And friends were like, why weren't you talking to me about this every week? And I was like, it was just like one of those shows that was so good. I knew that anyone talking about it positively or negatively was going to piss me off.
That's why that's literally no for real like as a gay guy who like gay media in the States is awful, right? Like it's like AIDS or like SA or just like coming out and like ruining your lives, like having something like I was like after the series was done I just like sat down and realized like I don't want to learn about the actors, I don't even want to read the books, I just want to sit in this like moment in time where I felt represented and cared about, and I could relate to things, and in not a forced way, in an authentic way, and just like be, because I feel like as a person who like has almost exclusively long distance dated and like hasn't really felt like represented and like finally have like the types of relationships that like made me reflect back on my relationships. Like there's parts of the show that are like pure and innocent despite everything, right? And I feel like that's the part that like you never really hear about. And when I think of like when I came out of the closet when I was in like what sophomore year of high school, that's all it was. I just wanted to hold hands and giggle, right? Like that's really all I wanted. And then 4'11" Kervin got a 6'2" water polo player who like carried me places and drove me places and danced with me at prom, and it was just like and then I think it was like it took me like 4 months to get my first kiss, and it was like fab, it was perfect. And I feel like it was so like even now I try really hard to like block out like learning about Connor's story and learning about like oh my god, what is his name? Williams. What is his first
Hudson
name?
Williams.
Hudson. Like I'm trying to just like enjoy the moment because a fandom can like change things or people can read into things and like I just want to like for as long as I can just be like really happy and feel just like is this what like cishet white dudes have felt their entire lives when except theirs is with guns and shooting things and mine's like holding hands on a couch in the cottage, you know what I mean, like or like toes in the cottage, like is this what that feels like?
Yes, I have to imagine that that is what that feels like. I and I think a lot of it was you and I are chronically online, and I was like, we're always online. Our
I
entire
try to I try to hide that from people, but yes, I am very chronically online.
our entire relationship exists online, except for a couple of times a year when we're at a con and we see
Fair.
each other in a
Fair.
hallway.
It's fair.
Um, but all of that to say, I knew I was like, I'll get it onto my FYP, and I will get straight women a, a lot of opinions from men. I will just be inundated with opinions. And even if they are the opinions that are shared by me, I just feel like for right now, I just want it to be my comfort bed smut show. And then I just want it to be. And then I just like want to lay it down. And then it was over. And unlike you, I ran to all the Teen Vogue videos of Hudson and Connor because I can't get enough of them. and and it's not, and I told you this when you made a special request and you were like, can we just not talk about their bodies the entire episode? And I was like, yeah, because I'm not even, I can conceptualize that they are good looking men and they are like perfect specimen of men. However, I'm not attracted to them in a very physical way. I very much just want to like hug them all the time and be like, you're my baby boy. And to Connor, and then to Hudson, be like, and you're my chaos gremlin. And then just like put them to bed.
Oh, I just want to be besties and tell your story. That he seems like a blast in the best. Like he's like every theater kid who I loved and adored. Like happy and cheerful and just like fully committing and like and there's like a switch and like when his switch is like he's so different from his character. Like his smile is so like I feel like as someone who has what is it? They call it non-engaged face because I have a really bad RBF. But when I smile, it's so aggressive to people that because I'm so happy, it feels like there's this dichotomy, and I feel like that's what he has because when he smiles, I'm like, whoa, like like it's so genuine and not his character at all.
I'll have to send you photos for my nephew's first birthday party because I was sending them to people being like, I don't recognize how happy I am in this photo. I was like, this smile, it's at a whole new level. And it's only happened like one time before when I went to LA and met a lot of long distance friends in person. And it's like, you're right. It's that smile that's so genuine that like it even frightens me when I see myself in pictures with it on. And he has it. And I just feel like he's the type of guy who would notice that I've hit a wall at the club and would bring me water. He'd be like, Natalie, you need water.
Fair, yeah, no, for sure.
And then Hudson would be like, you need to bump and grind more, Natalie. And I'd be like, they're both technically right. What do I do? But
Gen Z
okay.
people will never understand that. Like
Oh,
that's the one thing that like I never even clubbed that hard. I was like an old man my entire life. Like 10 o'clock, even I don't even have board game conventions. 10 p.m. Like I'm ready to go, but like I'm there. My face is like I'm here, but like I'm still there. People are like, oh, I can't. Thanks for coming out. I'm like obviously, I'm gonna do it. Like I'm a millennial. Like let's go.
let's go. I am bump and grind all night long. Don't even when oh, did you watch the Golden Globes? Because every time someone had to walk the mile up to the Golden Globes, they played one of our throwbacks. And I was like, I can't listen to Usher and also the speech.
Agreed. No, for sure.
What a
Like the
terrible choice.
I can't. You want me to focus and listen? You want me to like jam and bob my head and listen?
And then honestly, Noah Wiley let me down because I was like, if anyone's gonna make like a stupid dance up to the podium, it's gonna be Noah Wiley to like divert attention from winning. And then he didn't, and I was like, I would have bumped and grinded onto Harrison Ford, I think, on my way up. Like I would just be like, Harrison,
You're like, I earned it for
I
sure.
earned it. But okay, so now we know how we both kind of fell into it because I've now listened to the first book, and my controversial take is that the show is better than the books.
That's what I feel like. No, I like as so my degree's in film, right? Like, and so like I spent a lot of time in theater, and there's just like a lot of there's and it was just so beautifully made, and I feel like you can still have like it's based on the book, but like there's a person on TikTok who goes through like through the each of this like specific scenes on like what's in the book, what's in the video, and like how it works, and I don't know, like I'm scared to read the book because again, it the video like it was so perfect for me. Why would I try to actively do something that might ruin that?
Well, and do you know what the show layered in that I think I lost when I was listening to the book? So, like, it's a very sexy, smutty show. Like, immediately. There's no, like, will they, won't they? They're gonna. And, but peppered in to these very like taut with tension, hot, sexy, smutty scenes. There's also like these little moments where you watch their like pride and stubbornness and like their shame crumble a little because they feel safe with one another while also not addressing that they feel safe with one another. And because it's a visual medium, and because of choices that both Connor and Hudson and the director and the intimacy coordinator made, you see it all play out. And like in a book, you don't have time to be like, yeah, and then we were railing all night long. But then he like caressed my pinky on the way out and I felt flutters for the rest of my life. But like on the show, I could see all of it, the underlying just like tenderness and affection. And that's what sold me. It's what got me coming back.
That's the. This is. I know it's a controversial take. It's probably a bad take, and I acknowledge that. After watching the show, it made me feel bad for women because
You
like
should.
because like truly, it's like you've never had a guy do nice things for you. You've never had a guy look at you and like you're the only person in the world that matters. You've never had someone actively like consume like you consume their entire bandwidth. And like as a gay man from Texas who has actively prioritized like straight or not, like you will treat me well. You will talk to me nicely. You will do nice things. Like you have to earn the right to do nice things for me. And to like know that like somehow I've been treated better over the course of my life than like some women have from straight men. Like I have like girlfriends who are like, Kervin, my like husband treats me badly, he won't ever call me. And I was like, I have straight dudes who call me when they think about me. I have straight dudes who like without asking will just like at a convention just take all my stuff and just start walking. And like it's because I have enough straight dudes in my life. I can just demand stuff. I don't care anymore. But it genuinely just made me feel sad that like women want that. They're like demanding it the best they can and they still get treated like trash. Like that was especially when they're like, oh my god, that was so cute. I'm like, was it that cute? I mean, it was cute, but like to a point where it's just like they yearn for that. And and like I yearn for that, but like I feel like I've gotten it. And like it was cute, but like it wouldn't be as cute if I never had a guy do nice things for me.
And do you know what's terrible? Every time I've thought that I've had that, like, oh, he went out of his way to grab me a bottle of water, or like, oh, he went out of his way to make sure that I was like sitting in the shade instead of the sun or whatever. It was just like a long list of small cons that that man was doing to keep me baited. And that's not at all what I was watching on Heated Rivalry. I was like, they're just doing it to do it. They're not manipulating anyone. And there's been a lot of like conversation around the idea of why women are into men loving men smut books. And honestly, a friend told me personally years ago, she was like, I read them because there's no weird power dynamic. She's like, you read a lot of hetero smut and it's like he's in charge and he's big, or she's trying to top him to like assert her dominance because she's never felt powerful before. And it's like all of that hierarchy that comes along with misogyny and patriarchy is just like there all the time. And with men loving men romances, there's no hierarchy.
I I heard that, and I also heard there was no women putting in emotional labor to progress the story forward.
Ain't that
And,
it?
and then when I heard that, I was just like, like for that to be like a norm, like something that like, oh, that's different, like breaks my heart a little bit.
Neither one of them felt the need to babysit one another. When Ilya was like doing check-in points with Shane, it was at a very like he actually wanted to know. He was checking in. And when women are in relationships with men, we have to read all of these subtle clues. And honestly, it's a fear response. Like it's a trapped response where it's like, okay, he sighed in that way. Is he hungry? Is he thirsty? And then you have to like run through the list and then try 3 or 4 things. And if you try 3 things and it's not till the fourth thing that you get it right, he's yelling at you that that you wasted his time or whatever. Now he's frustrated because you didn't meet his need. And it's almost like, yeah, they got to put that down. There was no like running list of like simmering passive aggressiveness that happens in these heterosexual relationships that I've been in where you're constantly just like guessing. Like, what are you upset about today?
like there were people who were like, "That's how I know it's fake," and I was just like, I was like mortified, like like as again, I'm an elder gay millennial, right? Like, and as like I physical touch notoriously and words of affirmation are not my love language, even remotely. And when I first came out of the closet, like my guy friends would I would like hug them, I'd do like the straight dude tap, and I would let go, and they were like, "Oh, you don't like this, do you?" And I'm like, "Nope, not even remotely." And they're like, "You're gonna like this. Like, you are fine, you are safe, but like, I think it's important for you to like be okay with the fact that like someone might want to hold you someday." And I'm like, I can't say no to that. And so I'm just like this really tense for like 30 seconds. And now it's like when I'm super comfortable, apparently I will just sit in your lap and play with your hair, which is like it's just so like it's just very it's not me at all, but it's the straight dudes in my life who like taught me to like be emotionally aware and like help me form like who I am today, which is like a wild like I'm well aware it's a wild statement. But like when they're good ones, they're good ones, and I can't make that up, you know?
And not in a sexual way, just because, like, wouldn't it be something if I had faith in straight men? Have them call me. Give them my number. Do they want to sit on a Zoom call and just be like, hey, this is what it looks like when straight men are nice?
Because I mean, I told you. So, like, did you ever meet Matt from Envy Board Games?
No, I don't think I did.
He's one of my. I met
He,
him online.
yeah.
He's one of my favorite people. But like, I remember for Gen Con, because Gen Con is very expensive. And so he was like, "Hey, like, let's get an Airbnb. There's like 9 guys there." And I'm like, "You want me to be in a house with 9 dudes? I guess. Like, for one Gen Con, I'll do it." And then I get there. I'm like, "Okay, where am I at?" He's like, "Oh, you get the bed." Like, he slept on the couch and gave me a bed because he knows that like I get up early or like if I get overwhelmed, like I need space. And like I didn't have to ask, and I would have been fine with like whatever because I was $200 to $300 the entire Gen Con. But like he literally gave up a bed for me, and in the morning, and then I get up in the morning and like, "Oh, Kervin making breakfast for you and everyone." I was like, "What?" Like like this is somebody I like just met, and it like I don't know if I just have the like be nice to me or like I'll never talk to you again. But people are afraid of it, and honestly, I'm okay with that because I always say like I'm going to be upset regardless. So like you might as well know because if a straight dude cares about you, they'll never do it again.
Yeah. Well, isn't that an eye opening statement to all the women being like, every time I put up a boundary, he kicks me out of his car?
I could you imagine if a guy on Board Game TikTok was like, "Kervin, get out of my car. I will drag you. I will make a TikTok, and I will make you regret it."
Right. But okay, so like I will say that as a woman who has a lot of boundaries up and has a lot of demands on how you will speak and talk to me, I've had more straight men flee or fight me than they have been like, you're right, Natalie. You're right. I know, look at your face. That's what I'm saying. That's why Heated Rivalry was for the girls a little bit, I guess, even though that's now the discourse that it was written for women and didn't have gay men in mind at all.
Don't get me. I mean, like it. That's the part that like I'm still struggling with. Is that like it was made by a woman for women, and yet like and was made for them because they don't get it from like their everyday lives, and this is like some fantasy that like oh would be so cool. And again, gay dude from Texas, right? Like if and I know how long it took for me to like love myself, right? And I know like that's like a for ongoing journey for like women as they get older because things change and like circumstance and the whole thing. Like having a bunch of I might be a straight dude's gay, but I do have a lot of girlfriends. And it's one of those things where I always tell them was like, "You're amazing, you deserve amazing, and if you don't think you do, I will yell at them for you." Because like I'm not putting up with it. And I'm sorry that like and but the other side of that is that like so I came out when I was 16, and I said I will find love of my life. I will marry him in Texas, and this was like in 2000, like 2004, right before same-sex marriage and all of that. And people are like, "You really think you'll ever get married?" And I said, "I feel it in my bones. Like I might be 80, I might be 80, but I like it will happen, and I'm willing to like wait." And I've one of my the other half of 4Y Games always says that like my superhero power is that like people are my everything, and really great people are like attracted to me, or I find them. And like for me it's really hard to let a good person go because there's so like there aren't that many. And so if you're able to find a good person who makes you feel special and makes you do all of the things, like I will never be the reason why we're no longer friends. And like I don't know, like I love what Heated Rivalry has done. I love that, like but I don't think it's like raising the bar for women. And like that's the part that like I don't know what it would take for that.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? As I was thinking about this episode a couple of weeks ago in the snowstorm, and I was kind of cranky and PMSing, and like I am fully like embracing my identity as a queer woman who is no longer attracted to men, and you can't make her. But as a queer woman, I watched the show as a queer woman, so I didn't center myself in their romance. Like I was able to really appreciate the romance between Ilya and Shane instead of making a wish list in my head. If you would like, I mean, I'm sure like as we were talking, I've been reflecting on my own relationships and whatever, but also I am very aware that I have not received the love and care from men that I should have. And so as a queer woman, my controversial take is that straight women should stop centering themselves in men loving men romances, because instead of making a wish list in your head and being like, well, I want to be the Hollander to your Ilya. Now I don't remember story. No, that's Connor's last name. What was Ilya's last name? Rosenau.
Rosie! It's Rosie!
It's Rosie because it's almost Romanov. And I was like, oh, someone's an Anastasia nerdy just like me. Because it's almost Romanov. But yeah, I have to center myself in their relationship. And I will say that like, and this has been an eons old issue with women feeling so unsafe in the company that they keep with straight men that they start to encroach into queer spaces because they're like, they'll like me here and they won't abuse me probably. And so I think that we're seeing that a lot with Heated Rivalry too, where it's like, well, maybe I would have felt like it was a story written for queer men if it wasn't women who were throwing the discos and making, I mean, I'm wearing merch today, but it's so I know who's gay in Indiana. It's literally my calling card. Who's seen the hockey boys kiss? I have a hat. But yeah, I do like it's one of those catch-22s where it's like I got a lot of safety out of the queer community before understanding that I felt so safe in the queer community because I was a queer woman masking as a straight woman because of Capricorn energy and high ability kid and probably a little bit of autism.
Wait, you're a Capricorn?
Yes, December 25th.
29th.
That's right. We have the same birthday month.
We do.
We should have a bash one year. We should rent a cottage.
Play more games and watch Heated Rivalry.
And watch Heated Rivalry. But because sometimes my initial reaction to things is one of irritation. And so when I started getting feedback that like, oh, this is a show about gay men, but not really because it was written for women by women or whatever, I started to get like really bummed out and down because I was like, is it because it is tender and sweet and beautifully shot and all of the things that I liked about the show? And I am always trying to like define what female gaze looks like in film compared to the male gaze. And I was like, is it because like they weren't like grunting and burping and like smacking each other before they made out? Or like, I saw bros and they did have to like open palm hit one another before they made out.
I'm still annoyed by that because they were like, it was really important to have like a gay character play, like a gay actor play a gay character. But we could have freaking had Chris Evans. We could have had Captain America. Because his brother's gay, and you don't think Captain America, like, making out with a dude won't, like, change things for
Change
people,
history, honestly.
right?
Chris Evans, pony up and do it anyways. Get on TikTok Live.
Make out with dudes,
yeah,
and say it's for the gays. Great.
We have an entire month for Pride. Honestly, because of Heated Rivalry, every time I see gay joy on the TV, I now throw up my hands and go, gay pride! Pride can be every day.
I as a gay Filipino in Texas, I always say the most like radical thing I will ever do is get married here and have my friends' kids be there. That like love is the most radical thing I will ever do, which is the craziest thing. And what is even crazier about that is most of my conservative friends have more conservative friends have been to gay weddings. Most of my liberal friends have not.
You know what? I've never been to a gay wedding, and now I'm upset.
And a lot of it has to do with the because you have gay friends, right? That doesn't mean they won't get married. If they've been together forever, like what needs to change? Like it's a whole point of view things. But when I thought about that, I was like, oh, that's wild. Like, yeah, Kervin, of course I've been to a gay wedding. I'm like, really? Of course.
So that leads me to my next point, that when I was so bummed out about this, like, what's making queer men think that the show isn't actually for them. And then my friend told me I was on the wrong side of TikTok. She was like, you're on the pessimistic side of TikTok. You got to get over here to the joyful side of TikTok, where there are men talking about how this show is a great form of representation and they're actually happy it exists. But still, like, there's discourse. I got to thinking about, and he's visiting you this week, I got to thinking about your partner and all of the cute TikToks that you make where it's like, things that I'm going to freeze dry so my boyfriend plays board games with me. And like, my favorite ones, and you know this, are the ones where you make him dance with you and he won't tell you no.
He won't. He'll never tell me no.
And I was like, well, I hope that the norm is more Kervin and his partner's relationship and not this, like, you're in a relationship with another man and you're just he-manning off of one another all the time, because that, I'd never want to watch that TV show.
Something that like, so I have a lot of on board game TikTok. There are a lot of like Gen Z like dudes, right? And it's wild to me that like in their 30s, like late 20s, early 30s, straight men who like have had crazy life experiences and are married are just starting to realize that like they can be a husband in a way they hadn't originally thought. They're more like the role is not as clearly defined, and that's okay. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like I started when I was 16. Like I've started my entire life, right? That's why I love Mulan, right? Like besides, Asian stuff. Like I freaking love Mulan. But like the whole concept of like being like that I didn't think was so different was I got to have friendships that like made sense to only me. I got to have like relationships that like don't make sense to anyone. I don't have to justify them to anybody. Like when I get married, I don't gotta tell nobody nothing. I can just have what I want, have it make sense, and as long as he's not upset, I'm great. But like having people realize in midlife, like I mean not midlife, but like 30, 40s, that like I can be something where I don't have to do something is just like it broke my brain.
Yeah. I do think that there's a lot of room still for straight men to be allowed the chance to, like, hey, what if you were the giggly adorable one for today? Wouldn't that be fun? Like, haven't you ever just wanted to giggle? Like, we have a blast.
That's where people think I'm like super serious. I'm like I'm Filipino. I inherently giggle. Like it's like in my culture to giggle. And like I remember when I was thinking about like when my content was like evolving, I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and people still thought I was overly serious. I was like, maybe I should just show more of my friendships with my guy friends, and like because they're real, and like I'll be like, hey, let's do this. Like, okay, and they'll like hold my hand and skip with me. They'll like pick me up and like hug me, and like it's weird to think that like I'm gayer online than I am in real life, but it's to remind people that I am because people like apparently I'm straight passing if I'm not talking because I dress the way I do And I don't want people like, since I've been on the internet, people will say like misogynistic things around me. I'm like, what makes you think you can say that around me? Like, that's actually not okay. And I'm like, crap, not to like flirt with you so you remember that I'm gay because people forget. I don't know how people forget. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Well, and it's because of the heteronormativity trap that kept me uh siloed into being a straight lady who's going to marry a man come hell or high water. and and I think that's what it is. It's like everyone just wants everyone to fit into this nice tiny little box. And I think that's why Ilya is actually so important, because he's very, for a man who's from Russia, where it's illegal to be everything that he is except for a hockey player, and for him to be so secure in his bisexuality that when Shane's dad is like, but you've slept with a lot of women, and he goes, I have.
That's not untrue.
That's not untrue. That's not untrue.
that's a but that's the part of Ilya I actually like really related to. Like, I loved the fact that like he a he was the white person relationship that dealt with that, because right, because normally it's like the BIPOC person, right, and having to be like with his family, like having to always prioritize other people's feelings and just never being able to express his, always having to like take care of everyone and have to be this like hyper independent person. Like, that's my life. I've always said you have to earn the right to do nice things for me. And like the scene, I love this. I absolutely, my favorite scene is like when he like asked Shane for like money, because that boy has never asked anyone to pay for anything in his life, and he's like, hey, pay for these kids chocolate bars because a shark ate me in a pool. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
The whole scene is my favorite scene. Him playing shark, him telling that kid, get out of the pool. Your
Boo,
father knows
splash him,
nothing.
splash him.
Splash him out of
And
the
then when he was
pool.
like splashing, that like that scene is just like forever etched in my memory as just like, oh, perfection.
There's also something like halfway through the show, I forget that they're closeted, because a majority of the show is spent in their personal, intimate time together, and they're so for Shane, who's running a marathon of a checklist in his head the entire time. There is a part in every scene that he's with Aaliyah that you watch it fall away, and I'm like, he's so comfortable, and like for the moment they're so secure in one another that I was allowed to let go of all of that anxiety that happens. Like, the tension was never like, ooh, these hockey players are having sex and they could be caught at any moment. I never felt that way.
Agreed, agreed. And the fact that like there was a happy ending,
Oh
like
my god.
that's the part that like when you consume so much queer media and to the point where like to feel represented and cared for, I had to watch like movies in different languages. Like, I remember the first like RuPaul's Drag Race where I actually like felt represented was RuPaul's Drag Race season 1 of Thailand, and it was subtitled. And I was like, I had to like watch something that was subtitled to feel like I'm real and my feelings are real and like I'm not crazy, because they threw shade the way I do. They have the humor the way I do. And like they're not loud, we're just loud people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and the fact that like we got a happy story. Like, I was thinking about it today. Do you know what the first movie launched in America by a major studio where the main character was like a queer teenager?
A queer teenager?
Yep.
I know it's got to be earlier than But I'm a Cheerleader, but that's the one that's always in my head because it was such
Major studio. A major
major
studio.
studio. Oh, that's right. But I'm a Cheerleader was an independent film. Well, it
It
can't
was
be what was it?
it was Love, Simon.
Shut up. I was like, how old were we when we watched Love, Simon?
It was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And then people were like, "Oh, this could have been made in America." No, this could never have been made in America. Absolutely not.
Well, and to me, the the way that they shot and they constructed the story around heated rivalry and the actual love and affection between these two men, plus with all of the outside noise surrounding them, but not getting to them, it felt very much like Heartstopper. Have you watched Heartstopper? It's adorable.
It's adorable.
I've read, I think, all of the books at this point. My only complaint with Heartstopper is that in the comic books, the rugby player, the like sportier boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've watched it. What are their names? Charlie and
I just know it's Kit Connor. I keep forgetting what his name is.
So Kit Connor isn't like as doughy and like golden retriever. Like he's not like as broad and doughy as the kid in the book. So when I turned it on, I was like, no, I wanted him to be a big giant oaf of a giant dope. And that's what I wanted. And Kit Connor is just not who you are, and you're cute in all of the other ways.
Yes.
But Heartstopper is also one of those shows that's constructed around a group of misfits who are expressing love in the way that they understand it, while there is a whole outside world that's not built for them. But it's not like you're not sad at the end of every episode. You're like, look at those cute kids go. One of them is actively kicked out of her house, and she still has a pretty uplifting storyline. And I think, number one, the fact that it's Love, Simon is insane to me. I can't reckon with that.
But like it makes but if you think about it, it makes sense though. Like the whole like trans athletes, the whole like GSAs in middle school and high school, like they don't want to promote. Like we just like wake up 30 and gay, right? Like I remember I was talking to one of my friends' husbands, and he was just like, "Kervin, I just need to ask you questions," and I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "You don't need to, but I will answer them because I love your wife, and I don't know if you deserve her, but we will go." And he was like, "So you came out before there was like queer representation?" I was like, "Correct. I knew I was gay when I was 4. I was not SA'd. Both my parents are still happily married. Like every stereotype that they had attributed to why someone would be gay, like I did not have." And I'm like, gay people have like we've always existed. And like why is it so hard for you to think that like we just like we don't know when we're 4 or 5? Like most of my friends we knew like in kindergarten. We had crushes on boys and girls at the same time, and then just like had to realize we were different, and we would just like worry about it later. Like I didn't come out because I was super courageous. I came out because I was exhausted of trying to process things by myself. Like being gay is more than like who you love. It's how you interact with people, how you build relationships, how the world sees you. It affects your dreams. It affects like all of it encompasses so much of like who you are. And for people just to be like, oh, it's just like who you sleep with, it's like it's awful. And like for people not to understand that, like it just baffles me.
Well, and I think that that's why Ilya is such a perfect partner for Shane, because of Ilya's Russian attitude. When Shane says something along the lines of, I think I'm gay, and Ilya goes, what made you think that? Is it the fact that you sleep with men? And he just does him like, duh, Shane. And then Shane kind of gets to stop that running checklist of anxiety in his head, because he's like, okay, well, I guess it is true. And we don't have to make like he had a safe space to not have it be such a big deal. When I was 30, and on this podcast, realizing that a lot of religion and type A and Capricorn and high ability and straight heteronormativity, straight passing in the Midwest, and the fact that I love attention. So I was going to do the tap dance to be like, I'm a good Midwestern woman. When I realized that it was all a front, and I was like telling my friend on this podcast, and I was like, I've only ever really enjoyed the company of women, and I only really think of women in like loving ways, and the men that I have dated have been fine. Or
how I feel about women. They're fine.
Like they're okay, but like I love women. And she's like, do you know what we call that? We call that being gay. And I was like, I think God made me not be gay. And I was like, and that's crazy, because I wasn't raised in like a religiously devout household. I just had a concept of Christian God because we had to talk to someone on Easter and Christmas, and it was him. and so when I was a 30-year-old telling younger friends, I was like, I was recording on the podcast, and I think I realized that like I'm okay with the idea of me dating women, and I think it will be a better experience for me. I think I connect with women better on a mental and emotional level. I think that they're prettier than men. I think that they're funnier than men, and they're just better. And a friend asked me, she goes, so you're going to let all of those men that mistreated you win and just give up on men entirely? And I'm like, yeah.
Weird.
What a weird.
Win? That
Win.
verb is confusing. Win?
Yeah.
Ugh.
You're going to let them win?
But,
and I was like,
but they never, like, that's not even, that's apples and oranges. That's not even.
But also, like, why is heterosexuality such a battle? Like, every day you're going to battle.
If you've heard them talk, yeah, it is a battle. Like,
I know, that's what I'm saying. And it's why I didn't want to talk to anyone about heated rivalry, because I didn't want to hear a bunch of women tell me, like, if only men would treat me like they treat their boyfriends. And I'd be like, men don't like us. Like, systematically, they have not been trained to like us. They're never going to treat you like on heated rivalry. And I just wanted to be proud of my hockey sons. Yeah. I didn't want to hear a bunch of women tell me, and this is what we long for. And I'm like, this doesn't, I guess.
but literally, like, all those videos, I was just like, I mean, it was great, it was cute, but like, not like I didn't ooh anything, and I feel like so much is like, and some people are like taking notes and being like ooh, and I'm like, I don't.
And now women are having their straight husbands watch it and give reviews on TikTok. Please no, I don't want to know your boyfriend or your husband's opinion on my show.
I don't want straight opinions on my show either.
When people were like, you gotta listen to the straight hockey men talk about heated rivalry and how important it is to them. No, I don't.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
No, I do not. Okay. And then, because again of this, like, because this is going to be a harsh thing to say, but heterosexual women are always in an affection and love scarcity mindset. So when we're in the scarcity mindset, one day, when I was one of you, when we were in the scarcity mindset, we react in like crazy ways. So like when we're at our little, like, I would love to go to one of the heated rivalry raves because I love to bump and grind. But then I found out that y'all were kicking out the gays out of the heated rivalry.
They were.
And I was like, that's who I want to hang out with. What are you doing?
I don't like I'm making this comparison, but it feels like when straight women go to gay clubs. It very much is, hey, there's the space, it's not made for me, but I'm gonna like enjoy it and benefit from it, and then ruin like the experience for people that space was intended for. And I feel like that there are people in the heated rivalry fandom that are doing versions of that. And I get that it's not like made for gay people, but it's like, but the main story, they're gay. Like,
well,
it is.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Jacob Tierney, and I don't have to.
Agreed.
I assumed he was a queer man because he took this project on, but I always make assumptions like that. I assume that because anyone's talking to me that they're queer, because why would you want to talk to me if you're a not queer person? But I assume that Jacob, that was the assumption I made. So I don't understand this. Like, I think it is a story for queer people. Who else would it be for?
Straight men and hockey players.
No, boo. And I love hockey. Have I told you that? I love hockey.
I did not know that about you.
It's because it's so violent and it's because they never really call time out. The game never stops. They just keep having different boys hop in and out of the little box.
Or they're in timeout.
Yeah, or they're in timeout. Right? They have to be in the penalty box, or they're in their little lunchbox box, and they're just jumping in and out, and the game never stops. And I love that about hockey, because you know what's wrong with football? You stop every 3 minutes. I cannot. My ADHD can't take that on. But men who just want to hit one another on ice, I love that.
I love that I didn't learn anything more about hockey that I didn't know previously.
Correct. Yes.
Because, like, that wasn't the focus.
Right. And I will say that for people who are like, I would have loved some, we're actually sad about being closeted representation. We had an entire episode 3 that honestly, it was the Kip and Scott Hunter. I was like, I'd watch this episode every day. The standalone episode between the two of them.
If there was a whole series on that, I would watch that every single day.
Well, they're the first book.
Right. I did hear that.
Yes. And my cousin told me, she was like, you can go ahead and skip that first book because they are just like privileged white dudes.
There are people who are saying that that Hudson is like to not care about it because they're both white, and I was like, you think he looks white to you? How he looks half. He absolutely is half something, but like he's not blonde. He has black hair. He has the 90s like part that like we all rocked in the 90s, and every Asian kid like.
Do you think I could rock that hairstyle? I think I like his hair more than Connor's. Do you think I could rock that? I'm gonna see. I'm gonna do some photoshopping later on. Maybe someone will make a TikTok filter. The thing, people just complain. Number one, did you watch the show? They talk about him being Asian all the time. Like his mom's name is Una, right? There's not a.
There's a Y. I
think it's Una. Okay. Una is like, hey, Nike called, and this is going to mean a lot to Asian kids. It's her line every episode. Every episode.
Do it for your future people. Like,
she's like, do it for the Asian kids.
And like, it was funny when I first saw her, and I was like, oh, she has to be like some form of Filipino mix.
Yeah.
And she is Filipino.
Of course.
And so like, and to have like a Filipino mom say all of the right things, because there's so many Filipinos who don't have their mom who say the right things.
Yeah.
Like is something that like it matters. It absolutely matters.
I am flabbergasted that people didn't catch on that they're both not white boys. I also need people to understand that like different cultures outside of America also have a different set of rules, no matter what you look like. The reason why the show is so good is because it came out of Canada. Watch Degrassi. It goes there.
And it has gone there for decades.
Since the 80s.
Correct.
My mom watched it in college, and that's how she learned gay culture in the 80s. And watch Degrassi from Canada. It is my goal this year to actually start consuming more non-English speaking television, because I understand that it's better. And I understand that I will resonate with more of the stories because, and I've talked about this so many times, but like America censors even Canadian stories. Like they didn't play Manny's abortion episode unless it was 3 a.m. on MTV. They would not let me see Manny's abortion episode on Degrassi because in America, you're not allowed to just talk about abortion, let alone go get one.
Can I make a recommendation for you?
Always.
So I recently, it's almost done. It's season 2. It's called The Boyfriend, and it's on Netflix.
Okay, yeah.
And it's based in Japan. It has a bunch of like Japanese queer men who either recently like want to start dating or trying to like find themselves.
Yeah.
And they like are put in this house. They still have their full-time jobs. They all work remotely, and they like run this coffee shop, and they just like build friendships, and then they can like date and figure out what they want. And I want to say that like it is the most innocent, and like it's what people think people wanted in high school when I was in high school, right? It was just like, oh, he held my hand. But like it's literally like the cutest thing, and it has men talking about their feelings in a like period, like just period, and like in a way that like is thoughtful. And it's so like this could never happen in America, because in America they would just all sleep together day one and then just drama, right? But because Japanese is more like it's more of a conservative culture, like it's a insight into like what as an elder gay millennial what it was like for like generations before. Because like now, like Gen Z gays are like, this is what it is, take it or leave it, we don't care. But like that approach won't always work because like gay marriage has not been around for that long, right? Like our like my friends' parents were part of like they remember when like segregation was a thing in Louisiana, right? Like they like it's it hasn't been a full lifetime yet, and yet you can demand things and it's great, and I'm proud that there are people who can do that, but like it's not it will not work for everybody.
I've been rewatching Desperate Housewives, one of my favorite shows. And when Bob and Lee, the gay couple, come to Wisteria Lane, my entire body lit up with the memory of like how big of a deal I thought that was in my early 20s that they would have, number one, on this show that's chock full of women in their 30s and 40s, which is also unheard of on American television. They also, at some point, included a gay couple. But even when Bob and Lee were getting married, they planned the wedding on the show. They never televised it. And I think it's because gay marriage wasn't legal during that season, I'm pretty sure, and they were going to have some sort of commitment ceremony, but it could have also have waffled or no, it wasn't the year that that gay marriage was ratified. I think that came after the show was over, but they never aired the wedding. I was like, we dedicated so many episodes to planning this wedding, and we never see it.
Did you ever watch Dawson's Creek?
I love Dawson's Creek.
And Kerr Smith, freaking, he was Andy's brother, and he had like the gay storyline, right? And so that was the first like same sex kiss aired on like primetime television, and his career like tanked after,
Of course.
right?
Yeah. Well,
And like,
go for it.
no, I was just gonna say like what that meant to just have like a high school kid try to like find himself and all like that that meant the world to me as like a teenager. And then later on they did like the final it was like a movie that they did, and he like ended up dating like Pacey's brother or whatever. It was just
I have like an entire body sense memory, and I know I was young. I was probably younger than 10. I have like an entire body sense memory that I can put myself into when Ellen kissed a woman on a sitcom. And Ellen came out on TV via her own sitcom. And then I also just like felt the tension in my house because it happened. And I remember when Rosie O'Donnell had to be a straight lady who loved Tom Cruise, which should be illegal to have to be forced to love Tom Cruise.
he's 5'5". Can I just say that he's 5'5"?
Well, does that make him a better person because he's
No.
our height?
No, I just like don't make people fall in love with 5'5" people. like it's just that's not the person that like you should be forcing Rosie O'Donnell to be with. I'm just saying.
No. And like, I love Rosie O'Donnell. She follows me on TikTok, Brad. We're friends.
What?
Yes. So we watched Sleepless in Seattle for our movie spinoff where we watched old comfort movies, and Sleepless in Seattle was my friend Julia's. And I don't think I had ever seen it before as an adult. I have all of these like false memories of movies because movies were just always playing in my house. But to say that I sat down and watched Sleepless in Seattle before we watched it for YouTube, false. And it's the same with the entire Scream franchise. um, but anyways, we were watching, and I cut a little clip of it. And it starts off with, I was so happy to see Rosie O'Donnell. Do you remember when Rosie O'Donnell was in all of the movies? It's so comforting to see her in movies. I was like, hey, friend, that's my friend Rosie. And she saw it. And it's just like the first 2 seconds of this minute-long clip that I have. And she commented, and she was like, hey, friend. And she followed me. And I cried. I literally cried. And I was like, I remember Rosie O'Donnell, and I remember all of the things that Rosie O'Donnell went through when it became there. I don't even know if Rosie O'Donnell came out as much as we all just like woke up from it and realized that she was queer, and then we treated her terribly afterwards. I remember like Rosie O'Donnell being thrown as an insult at me one time because it's like, well, Natalie, if you're not going to be nice about men, why don't you just go be on the Rosie O'Donnell cruise? And then like feeling shame about that because I was like, I don't want to be on a lesbian cruise because someone was yelling at me. And I like Rosie O'Donnell is such a huge figure in my life. And and you know what? Remember how fun Will and Grace was? Where's our Will and Grace for the millennial years? Where's my 2026 Will and Grace? Like I grew up watching those shows, and we were a big sitcom family. I couldn't just be watching the Brady Bunch all of the time. And it's one of those things where I felt that heated rivalry for a show that was about being in the closet. They were so naturally integrated into their everyday lives, their romance and their feelings for one another, that I was like, well, actually, this just feels lovely at the end of the day. I'm not even sad for them.
I agree. Like if there's one thing that show didn't do, it didn't emphasize frequently enough because you were just so drawn away from shots and like decisions that like they're these like massive stars that were like. I mean, could you imagine when when Michael Jordan or like any like think of any other sport and think of like major rivalries and have that happen? Like that's like in that context, it'd be insane.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it. What was your favorite scene of the show?
It depends on my mood, right? Like it depends on like where my head's at. Like the, I just I love. I could watch the scene of like Shane in the hospital forever.
Oh, please come to my cottage.
Like it's the vocal sims, it's the way he looked at him, and like I feel like that's just like that scene everyone can relate to. It's just like someone you cared about, something happened, and you're seeing them, and you're just want to making sure that they're okay, and it's just like and there's so much you can like read into that scene. I mean, you saw the heart rate stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
his heart rate like went down, and like I just like I thought it was just oh favorite scene of all time is when that last kiss before they hooked up and Shane's like that they're talking about the Olympics and he's holding his jacket and he's just like oh blah 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 you're gonna wait your entire life to win bronze and that final kiss is just like that's all I've ever wanted, that's all I've ever demanded, that's all I've ever required is just like it's just that just like because we're allowed to have like gay people are allowed to have sweet moments. We're allowed to have like pure and innocent moments, and like not everything has to be like super aggressive or super anything. Like let people just like I want that, and for people who watch me on TikTok, it shouldn't surprise you. Like that's what I require. you
Also,
know,
kind of what you have with your partner and with straight men that I know.
it's true.
Straight men that I know via TikTok. I, I, I laugh at everything Ilya says, and I think I do see a lot of myself in Ilya because he's so black and white, and he's like, "Well, it's dumb to feel that way," and I'm like, "Oh, look, he's me." Hey, girl. Um, and it's the eldest daughter, eldest son thing where it's like you're just carrying everything, and you're in charge of all of it, and you're the family caretaker, and like you're holding all of the family secrets and making sure that none of them leap out. And I love Ilya. I love that stupid Canadian bird. Uh, I mean, it's on my hat. I had to buy this hat because I was like, that's so funny. The way that he says it when he's like, it's a loon. Stupid Canadian wolf bird. And I love the gimme kiss. I love every part of the cottage. And I love Ilya playing in the pool with the kids. when I rewatch it and I know that that scene's about to come up, it makes me so excited. I'm like, here it comes. Because it's so, especially, I'm dedicating this year to whimsy. And I feel like heated rivalry gave Ilya pockets of times where he could be playful and he could be giggly and he could like lay it down, the responsibilities of the eldest son. And I think that like I was watching it and like thinking of New Year's resolutions. It was Christmas time, and I was like, and I got to meet Cynthia Erivo, and people did tell me like, "Are you worried you're gonna get kidnapped?" And it's a ploy. And I was like, "No, I'm just
Wait,
gonna
you
go."
met her?
I did, yeah, in
I,
December.
I followed her for years, and like where did you meet her?
So Airbnb did a promo where I wrote an essay, and I wrote
That's
an
very
essay
you now.
about what Wicked and Cynthia Erivo mean to me was the prompt. I wrote an essay and I talked about like how often we talk about Wicked on the podcast and like how I cried during Defying Gravity because I cry for all of the eldest daughters and for all of the women who are differed in their families and friendships and communities because they refuse to center men. And it's so much easier for women to center men. So when you're not doing it, you are immediately othered. And so I won. I and 20 other people won. I'm a winner. And I flew out to LA and I went to Thousand Oaks, California on this big ranch, and they recreated Elphaba's nest. It's my background. It's my background. They recreated it. And in this ranch in California, and they recreated her nest from No Good Deed, and she came and she gave a little Q&A, and she held space for my grandma because she was wearing this like luxurious, I'll send you the blog post where I write about it. She was wearing this luxurious like silver sweater that was also giving a little bit of like JC Penney's holiday line. And I was like, my grandma would love that sweater. And then I got like the tingles that my grandma was with me on the trip. And I told her, and she went, ah, Grandma Peg, we're just so lucky to have you here. And she held space for my grandma. I know. She's wonderful. Like, I'm all in. I'm all in on Cynthia Erivo. I think she's the most genuine person and a genius and so talented. Oh, and just like a testament to everyone, to women, to Black women, to queer women, to people. She is a testament of what we can do if we really set our minds to it. Eldest daughter has a rocky relationship with like,
And unapologetically them.
yeah, amen. Yes, yes. I'll send you pictures.
Funny pictures.
Yes, but it's one of the best days of my life. But when people went, I was like, no, I'm going to be whimsical. I'm going to decide that this is going to be a trip that I can do and I can take, and it will be fun the entire time because I'm whimsical now. I'm dangerously whimsical. And I think that like watching Ilya in the pool reminds me that that's why I want to do it. Like, how often do you feel like we've been allowed to just have fun?
Always like not like I like because we're too busy doing everything. Even like
Everything.
finding ourselves took a long time, right? Like, and then having to like navigate like family and just like what it means to be like gay or queer and like what like and then also just me trying to like try. You know how long it took me to be okay with the fact that straight men treat me well? Like there's like guilt attached to that. There's like all this just like it's embarrassing that the straight guys are my friends, but like it's part of my truth, and like I can't like lie about it. Like the and what's crazy to me is I feel like my entire life, like I get that straight dudes have like they give me whimsy in a way that like I've never been able to like replicate or like respond to. Like I've always been this like overly serious person who giggles, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm able to let go. That doesn't mean that like and even as like a theater kid, like like there's just so many things happening. And I'm also like 5'2", like being a short like
Yeah.
on top of everything. Like but having people that like I, I can say or do something and I trust that like it'll be taken not in a negative way is such a big deal. oh, do they think am I flirting too aggressively with them? Was I too close? Where's my hands when I hug them? It's just like this constant like checklist of like algorithms, and just being able to just like be, and then have like, that was always my goal, and that's something I've finally gotten to. And the past couple of years, I mean, you've seen my TikToks. Whimsy has been like a priority the past couple of years. Like, I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna pretend to eat your massive bicep. Just flex it, okay? And then so we did, and they're like, Kervin, what was that? I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I went to the himbo, the show at Gen Con for the himbos last year for the first time. They asked for a name suggestion, and I literally just said the first like ridiculous set of syllables that came into my mind. I was like, flubbery do or whatever. And then they all just kind of looked at me because I said it with such confidence because of my tism. and and finally, the person I was with leaned over and went, Nambly, they want you to make a pun. And I was like, I didn't think of a pun. Someone else is going to have to do it. And someone else won the book. And that's fine, himbos. I'll come back next year. You were delightful. But like that innate feeling of just like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. And it's okay.
It's the it's okay part. I will go for things, but like okay being like, it doesn't matter what comes from it. Like you're not thinking of the repercussions. You're just like, I'm just doing this and trying to be in the moment. Like like I remember that like last Gen Con, it was like a friend's birthday, and so I had like a drink, and then he bought like a round of shots for people. And like, I'm a very anxious person, so I don't really drink, especially like in cities that like I don't know, and like whatever. And but I can't say, but I also super traditional person. If it's your birthday, I can't tell you no to birthday shots if you're paying. Like, I feel it's crazy. And so I look over at my straight guy friends, and I was like, hey, like, I will do this, but I need you to like promise me like you won't leave me. Like, I need you to keep an eye on me. And he's like, obviously. And like, so we did it or whatever. And every time, of course, that night, I would like look around. He was always just like scanning to see like where I was. And he took it super seriously. And I'm like, it's because of moments like that that I was able to actually let go and like just be in the moment. And it's crazy to think that like what's required for me to live in the moment.
Well, and then there's like the millions of lies I tell myself after I've lived in the moment. Like a couple of Gen Cons ago, when against all odds and through the luck of being me, I got friendship bracelets to Brennan Lee Mulligan and Erica Ishii and Louise. I don't know Louise's last name, even though he's on Critical Role currently. I know it starts with a C. Sorry, Louise. We'll meet again one day and I'll learn it. But I got them friendship bracelets. And like at first I was like, this is the best. I'm a girl who beautiful things happen to. And then I went home and I kept telling my little friendship bracelet story. And I heard things like, well, Manly, I hope that that's one foot in the door for your career and all the things that you want to do with your life. And I hope you made a connection. And then I started telling myself the lies where it's like, I'm not just a cute little girl who does things just to do things. I'm opportunistic. I'm greedy. I'm always looking for my way in. I'm always bothering people to try and get them to care about me. And like, it's the rhetoric. Like, I don't believe that I am allowed to just be a girl who's handing out friendship bracelets at Gen Con to Brennan Lee Mulligan.
I don't feel like I'm a guy who can just like hug his guy friends on the internet and it'd be okay. Or just hug guys in general and it'd be okay.
I don't know how to flirt with women. And I definitely don't know how to ask them out because I had this experience in a bar where a man told me that being attracted to other men means that you clock them physically the moment that you walk into a room. You know everything about every man's physicality. And he asked me if it was like this physicality thing with women. And I was like, no, I fall in love with women based on what they say and the way that they smile and the way like I feel girly and fluttery when I'm near them or whatever. And I was like, and I will end up falling in love with every woman in this room because every woman in the room has a reason to fall in love with them and has like, you know, the it factor. And it is mostly that emotional draw for me. I've never been a big like, ooh, look at that butt person.
It was I keep forgetting that like there's like the male gaze, the female gaze, and the gay people somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah.
And like I remember I was talking to like one of my friends, and they're like, "Oh yeah, so and so is obviously like super attractive. I'm like, is he? And they're like, really, Kervin? I'm like, no, I don't really know. And like for me, like I've always like since I'm not a words of affirmation person, I always say like how you treat people is a language. Like what you do is a language. And you grew up in a really conservative area, you are hyper aware of like looks and actions and like what that means. And so like for me, like I don't want to fall in love with someone because they open the door for me. but like it might happen,
But
you
I
know?
do.
I have.
One time the guy at Culver's told me that he would make me a chocolate strawberry shake even though it wasn't on the menu, and I was ready to give him my hand.
I was at Five Guys and I was wearing a Star Wars shirt, and he's just he made a Spock joke, and then he gave me extra fries, and I was just like, I'm in
I'm in
love.
love with you. I'm texting all of my friends.
I
Hey,
I did.
those people that I was meeting Cynthia Erivo and Oz with were some of the nicest, most genuine, most giving themselves over to the whimsy of the moment people. That as we were walking on the bus to go to the ranch to meet Cynthia Erivo, I told everyone I'm blocking all of my other friends on my phone. These are my friends now. It's you all. I'm obsessed with all of you. Everyone else is getting blocked. I'm not returning anyone's calls. And they were like, insane. I was like, I'm only half joking. I'm in love with all of you. One time during a writing workshop I was in, we were talking about networking, and Ashley Nicole Black and Chelsea Devonta said, you know, you can make up a contract for collaborations and for like working on a script together, but it's not like, don't feel weird about it. It's not like you're getting married. You don't have to get married to these people. And I literally put in the chat, but I would marry all of you in case there was any doubt. I would marry all of you if we need to get that going.
Something that like I didn't expect to learn is that like you can have soulmates that you're not meant to marry. And I firmly believe that. Like Connor Story, I think he did something talking about how like you're a part of my soulmate family. Like and it absolutely is a thing. Like my best guy friend, I met him in college. He has all of my feelings as a straight dude, which is wild to me. And like whenever something happens, I never need to tell him how I feel because he feels it. He's always like, Kervin, I'm this super selfish person, but when I'm around you, like I'm not that person. And like every time we go to a restaurant, he's like, "Can I get a name for your order?" He's like, "Oh, put it under Kervin. It's Kervin. Can you repeat it for me, please? I just want to make sure you get it right because he knows you my name because I'm automatically like annoyed." And he's like, "Kervin, you gotta get ahead of it. You gotta get ahead of it." I'm like, "I'm glad I have you to fight for me when I don't have the energy to."
Okay, well, I do have a writing class in 10 minutes, so I'm going to move us on because I want you to be able to brag about all of the things that you're doing. So, what is something that you took away as a life-changing lesson from Heated Rivalry?
A life changing lesson.
Yeah, you know the drill on this. We have to learn something from our nonsense. I'm not allowed to just have fun.
It's okay to fall in love even if it doesn't make sense.
Oh, yeah.
In the moment. In the moment. Not saying it'll never make sense. And I feel like as someone who's like like an overly emotional person, I feel like and my choices I made in the past in like partners, like it's okay to fall in love, and like it's like people always say like it's courageous to fall in love, and like I wrapping my like mind and heart around that is very difficult. But like I'm at a point where like it's okay because like they didn't mean to fall in love. That was not their goal, and like it worked out for them. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And like either way, like it's fine that you did.
What is something that you would like to manifest for the general collective that is inspired by Heated Rivalry?
That there is someone out there for you.
Yeah.
Like it absolutely feels impossible sometimes. It absolutely is frustrating, and like you feel the spectrum of emotions. But when I first started dating my partner, he said, "Kervin, I want unfiltered Kervin." I'm like, "I don't think you want that." And he's like, he's a super logical person, and he said, "I don't think life is worth living if I can't experience every emotion with somebody."
Oh my God, he is the reason I believe in love. I hope you tell him tonight.
And so, like, and for someone who has a lot of algorithms and a lot of like keeps a lot because I feel like a lot. He's never told me to like shut up. He's never told me that I'm a lot or that I'm crazy. And I feel like everyone has that person. And even though I'm not this overly sentimental person, like there is someone out there for you.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it might take longer than what you want, but like I dated this man for 7 years, and like as soon as I get to marry him, I cannot wait to marry him.
And I'm gonna come. I'm gonna crash the fuck out of it.
You better come.
I'm either gonna be in a really big prom dress or in the Goof Troop costume from the musician.
Powerline.
Powerline. I'm gonna dress as Powerline.
Because I don't know if I told you, but so the whole thing was like big gay Texas wedding. If you have your first slow song picked out of what you want to dance to, do not pick me because it will be an a cappella version of a Goofy Movies Eye to Eye sung by all of my theater friends in a choral like a cappella. And they're like, Kervin, that's crazy. And I'm like, I demand.
I demand it. Yeah. 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 Well, Kervin, thank you so much for coming back. Thank you for being my friend. I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years. I'm going to do a big birthday tour to all of my long distance friends. We're going to a cottage and we're playing board games. Find us a cottage in Texas or come
Find
here.
us a cottage.
Or come here. We have a lot of cottages on the dunes. But make sure that everyone knows all of the exciting things that I'm privy to because I'm obsessed with you and I'm always on your TikTok.
Marsh Hollow, we are about to send everything to the printer. They added 8 new pages to the comic. The lore of the game is not a paragraph. It's this comic that's made by Kelly Reese, and she's an overly amazing, talented graphic designer. Did the comic, did all the artwork. I can't wait to promote like her because she's amazing. And then this year is the year that I have a series called 40 Before 40 because I do turn 40 in December, and I'm going to uh, do wild asks or asks that feel wild. I got to meet Chris Grace because of it. Got to have all you can sushi with Chris Grace. I've reached out to a bunch of like digital publishers for board games. I got stream keys for my friends and ones to give away. I've asked studios for like board game studios for tours of their facilities. I've asked like people in board game TikTok Europe to do lives with me. Like I've had this list of like crazy things that like this is going to be a really good year, even if it doesn't work out. Like I think it's important to grow and go outside your comfort zone. So I'm a pretty decent deal in the board gaming space on board game TikTok, and my goal is just to be a pretty decent deal in the industry. I'm co-designing games with publishers. I asked them if they wanted to design games with me. I'm working on like an otter one, which is super cute. I'm working on an astrology one, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
And yeah, no, a lot's happening this year, and I'm super excited.
Listen, there are a lot of people who made me convinced that it was time for me to start dreaming. And right when I was convinced that I would start dreaming and I would start writing, and maybe one day I'd be the lady getting an Emmy and thanking all of the people who made it possible for her to dream on a big stage and or bumping and grinding on Harrison Ford to an Usher throwback. Kervin was one of them. You inspire me. I'm going to do my own 40. When I turn 39, I'll start my 40 before 40. And Chris Grace, if you're listening, the moment I'm combining your name with TikTok. The moment that Kervin got on TikTok and told me that he met the Scarlett Johansson, Chris Grace, I lost my shit because I find you to be so delightfully adorable and wonderful. And I love all of your content. And I loved your comedy special. So if you're as obsessed with Kervin as I am and you've stalked him to this podcast, you're a friend of the pod.
And he's exactly who you think he is.
Oh, I know.
I was so happy.
He's a sweet baby angel, just like Connor and Hudson, who are my sons. They are my sons. And I put them on my vision board because I'm going to meet them in 2026. If 2025 was the year that I was in a movie and met Cynthia Erivo and Erika Ishii gave me a friendship bracelet because she remembered my friendship bracelet from Gen Con, then 2026, I'm getting a hold of my sons. I'm meeting them, and we're going to have a hell of a time. And remember, Tyler, you don't have to smile through everything you don't have to smile through anything you're tolerating, including finding that there is such a gap in the media that represents you that you feel bad for holding the media sacred that does represent you. Smiles are for joy.